Hey everyone, this is Donney Rose coming to you on behalf of Humanities Amped to give a quick tutorial on writing to our documentation project, COVID Chronicles. So, if you're someone who follows Humanities Amped on social media, or if you're someone who are just engaged with our community, you've probably seen the prompts that we've put out over the last few weeks under the documentation project COVID Chronicles. And you may be someone that says, yeah, I've seen those and I want to participate, but I'm not really sure where to start. So I wanted to take a quick opportunity to break down a few different examples of how you can approach this particular project and how you can write to it and how you can participate. So let me first start by saying this. The COVID Chronicles project accepts all different forms and types and languages and mediums of writing. So don't feel like you have to be an expert or super proficient or professional writer or anything like that. We are interested in your experiences, in your expressions, in your thoughts, and your feelings. What I want to do is give an example of a prompt that we put out a few weeks ago and show you a couple of different approaches that you could take in responding to any of the prompts. But I'll use this one for example. So a few weeks back, we put out a prompt that said, social distancing has taught me dot dot dot. And so one very simple method of approaching this prompt or any prompt is to simply respond to the statement. So you may say, social distancing has taught me the value of quality time with loved ones. You can submit that. That is responding to the statement. So the way prompts are typically used, it can be looked at as a jumping point or jump off point to beginning the writing, or it could just be something that the writing is inspired by. For example, when people use prompts for poetic purposes, it's not always a matter of using the exact language in the prompt so much as using the theme and being inspired by it. So let's say you wanted to do a poem around the concept of what social distancing has taught you. You may use a metaphoric approach in which you compare social distancing to something that may be familiar. So if you think about this idea of distance, what are some things that bring up ideas of distance? Travel, or time, or just different realms, right? So you may write a poem with metaphor in which you're comparing social distancing to a long vacation or a long trip or some sort of just extended separation in time. You can also look at different forms of poetry. One of my favorites is the usage of persona as a form. And persona is basically a poem written in the voice of someone or something else. So let's say, for example, you wanted to write a poem in the persona of something that is right now very just prevalent in this period of pandemic and social distancing. So let's say your persona poem was in the voice of an empty movie theater, right? Because people can't go to the movies right now. You may write from the perspective of an empty movie theater or an empty movie theater seat or an empty movie concession stand about what it means to have excuse me, social distancing in this time. Other approaches you can take, essay or narrative. So you may write from the perspective of an experience that you had with social distancing as a brief essay or as a narrative. Example of that, let's say there was a time that you went to the grocery store recently and you noticed how empty the aisles were. And you just may you may write, very concretely about how it felt to be in the grocery store and there was really no one there, right? So those are just a few different examples, completing the phrase or poetically or narrative or editorial slash essay. But as I mentioned before, there's really no wrong way to respond to these prompts. Now, where do they go? Uh, there's a few different things you can do as far as submission. The easiest thing to do is go to humanitiesamped.com, click on the tab that says COVID Chronicles. All of the information for submission is right there. You fill out a very brief submission form. You can upload your text on that form, click submit, it comes straight to us. If you're concerned about formatting, then you can also email your responses to C19amped at humanitiesamped.com. Again, that's C19amped at humanitiesamped.com. And if you email it to us that way, we'll be able to make sure your formatting is the way you want it to be. We'll reply with a link to the form so that you can fill the form out and we have all of your information. But that's pretty much it. Again, the easiest method would be to go to humanitiesamped.com, go to the COVID Chronicles tab, do the submission. That way it'll come directly to us, and then you're one and done. You can also find information on the prompts on our social media accounts: Instagram at humanitiesampbr, Facebook humanitiesamp, Twitter at humanitiesampbr. So there's a multitude of ways in which you can find and get this information. But most importantly, we want your voices, we want your thoughts, we want your experiences of this time. Yeah. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at c19amped at humanitiesamped.com and send your submissions in, and look out for publishing of your submission, because once we get them in, we spend a little time formatting them so that they can come out looking right, and then your words will live on forever, or as long as the internet is around. So that's it. Again, any questions, email us at c19amped at humanitiesamped.com. Happy writing, stay safe, stay distant, and we'll look forward to your words.